Hello and welcome back. I had to do a little bit of wibbly wobbly timey wimey fixing stuff because otherwise I would have been blasting your eardrums out, which is never a good thing. We are going back with Beryl today to explore something that needs to be explored, but at the same time doesn't really count in with our capital cities tour before we start touring the rest of the continent, but it should be a capital city. And I figured today we would join Beryl as she flies to the ruins of Gilneas, which is the Worgen former capital, and now is just quite literally a ruined city. And I did a lot of work, so I want to point it out because I looked at the date and saw that it was going to be the 4th of May. And so even though I colored my hair crazy and cut about a foot of it off, I wanted to show that I could still do Princess Leia Spade Spun, so may the 4th be with you. And it makes it really, really hard to actually have my headset on, but you know what? Life goes on. But anyway, like I said, we are going to transition over and get with Beryl, who we left at this cute little, I guess, hut on the sea near Ironforge, and she is going to take us to the ruins of Gilneas. So we are going to just kind of take a little look at Beryl, and then I will meet you as we approach Gilneas, which, if you are an Alliance player, you almost have to die to get to or fight your way to because there's no flight paths. You just kind of have to hope that you don't die over the ocean. So let's join Beryl and bid adieu to the little hut by the sea. Alright, here we are, back with Beryl in game. She is, as you see, where we left her last time, because other than playing that little bit with Onyx, I have not been playing the game, because I have been running all over the Upper Peninsula of Michigan, where I live, exploring, well, not really exploring, but doing stuff there. So we're going to mount up, and I will show you where we are headed. Now, if you look at the map of the Eastern Kingdoms, this area over here is the ruins of Gilneas. It was the capital city of the Worgen race, and it kind of got all messed up. But it is full of so many cool things. So, what we're going to do is just fly there, and I will meet you when we get there. Alright, as you can see, we are poised to head to the ruins of Gilneas, which is across this little death zone here. Now, okay, technically we could go around and be safer, but where's the fun in that? So we are going to see if Beryl can make it to the ruins of Gilneas, or if she is just going to die. Spoilers, I'm pretty sure she's going to make it. Everybody get ready, there is that terrible noise. And here we go. I think we'll make it. Also, sorry about the weird skybox. I still have not actually figured that out. But as you can see, I think we're going to make it. If you watch the fatigue bar up top, it kind of just shows you how close you are getting to death. We're doing alright. We don't have the red and the oh crap, you're about to die thing going, so look at that. And up ahead you can see the ruins of Gilneas. Once a proud kingdom, now just kind of an awesomely fun place to explore. And also, this is probably one of my favorite spots for basically real estate. It's kind of amazing. Like, if you are looking for a really good house, head to Gilneas. I mean, there's no NPCs, there's nowhere that you can buy stuff, but darn it, I I love the architecture here. So we are going to land and start poking around in these houses. Like I said, there's absolutely no one here, but it's just sort of a fun and creepy place to poke around. See all these abandoned carts. I love the architecture mostly because it kind of reminds me of old medieval stuff. Now, you gotta wonder who lived here. The interesting thing about the Gilneas is they all ended up being cursed with, I don't know what you would call it, werewolfism. All of the Gilneans that are in the Alliance are basically werewolves, which is kind of interesting. It kind of looks like maybe somebody who lived here was perhaps an alchemist. Lots of skulls on the walls. Definitely interesting. And as you see, these houses all count as my criteria for a real-life house. They all have beds and they all have tables. So I probably should turn the music down just a hair, so give me a minute. Alright, that should be at least a little bit better. Sorry if I was blasting you with the music there. But like I said, we're just going to poke around a little bit, see what all we can see. But I've already found a place that I would personally take as my own home, even if it is a little bit creepy. You got another little house. I don't know. There's something that is so neat about all of these little houses. Little places that the World of Warcraft just seems to have maybe not forgotten. Obviously, they put a lot of love into them. Now, you do find some like this that are just a false house. You can't actually enter them, which I always think is a tragedy. But given the number of little houses that you can poke around in, it still is pretty good. This house kind of looks like it was a lot more abandoned, but hey, there's still a fire going in the fireplace, so that's kind of cool. Alright, you know what we're going to do? We are going to check the map, and we're going to go down into this area, the Black Ward, and see what is in there. Now, there is a whole really cool explanation about how Gilneas got this way, and I've only done it maybe once or twice because honestly, even though the Worgen as a race is really, really neat, aesthetically they're just not my thing. They're cool, but at the same time, I guess in my mind they look a little bit ridiculous sometimes. That's probably an unpopular opinion, but you know what? It's my opinion, so I guess it's not so much that they look ridiculous, it's just that they aren't my thing. They do have a human form, and a lot of people enjoy their human form, but whenever you go into combat, you become the werewolf form, and like I said, just not my thing. A lot of people really love it, though. Now, this is kind of neat. Yeah, you've got this interesting tree that's full of all sorts of stuff. Now, their starter zone and the quests that come with it are really interesting, and as usual in World of Warcraft, quite, I guess, kind of tragic. A lot of the tales in World of Warcraft are definitely tragedies, not comedies. But yeah, that's pretty cool. You got this nifty little area down here, just off from the Stormglen Village, which is our first place that we went to. Now let's go see another neighborhood. Not really sure what happened here, but looks like a giant monster who was fought, but definitely, possibly ate a few gnomes before he was killed off. It's, definitely something. I probably need to do this starter zone again, just so that I can re-familiarize myself with story. And we are going to check out the actual ruins of the city proper, but I do want to get all the outlying areas first because they're just so cool, in my mind anyway. Now, I do know on at least the server that I'm on, and I'm thinking probably most role-playing servers, since this is such a big, gorgeous area, it gets used quite heavily. Now we are approaching, I think this is Greymane Manor, and the Greymanes were a very important family in the Gilnean culture. Oh, this is really cool. Pull back a little bit. And I haven't poked around in here in a long time, so if I am missing anything that's just kind of key to the Worgens, please let me know in the comments below, because I will be the first to admit that there's a lot I don't know, especially about the Worgens. Even though, technically, Beryl's very good friend, okay, fine, they have a kid together in my role-playing life, he's, you know, her partner is a Worgen, but I don't actually know too much about the Worgens, so I just know that I really enjoy Gilnean architecture. This is so pretty. And again, it's criminally unused, which I tend to think quite a bit. I'm sure that all of this has something to do with the quest line that you go through when your player character gets cursed and escapes from Gilneas, but it's... I think the Worgen came out with the Cataclysm, which was a big expansion that changed a lot in World of Warcraft, and I think that was the last time I even made a Gilnean character, so, well that's different. Usually, you can escape on a flying mount through these doors. There we go. And we are out. Alright, we've got one more neighborhood to go to, and then we'll poke around in the city itself, and I think, if I am not completely mistaken, that there was a really cool mine that I found here one time, but I don't remember where it was. Now, if you look up ahead, you'll see the Greymane Wall. That was a wall that the city of Gilneas built to keep the rest of the world out. They were quite isolationist for a while. But that all changed when the Forsaken invaded, and they ended up getting cursed with the Worgen curse. Obviously, this town, since it is so much closer to the Gilnean Wall, they packed up and got out of there a lot faster. They did leave their chicken coops, though. Now, if you look up here, you can definitely see that there was a lot of battles that went on, and up ahead, if you remember from our last episode, we saw all of the plague wagons that were around the Undercity, and it definitely looks like they were deployed here in probably what was a desperate battle, if I remember the questing correctly, that ended with our Worgens being driven out, and they found refuge with the Night Elf population, who has had their share of troubles here recently. Okay, this is a really cute little village. Again, don't know if any of these houses we can go into, but let's see. Well, we can go into this one. Oh, and it does count as another house. Well, yeah, let's see. You can't actually sit in the chairs. That's kind of sad. But, oh, and a nice little graveyard. But hey, the sheep are still here. It's always a good thing. I'm trying to remember exactly where. There's a couple houses around here that were definitely on my favorite list. Hey, they even left their pig. more like a meeting hall for a trapper. Kinda cool. And one more house to check out over here. Looks like a more humble little house, but again, this is over in, what is this, the Emberstone Ruins, just off of the North Gate Woods, in case you are looking for a cute little house. Which, it's so funny, I do remember back a couple years ago when I was a lot more active with World of Warcraft instead of just puttering around like I have been lately. Beryl's entire job for a while was to find real estate and places for my guild to go and do a little bit of, fun role-playing in. And this was definitely one of my favorite places. I think this is probably the house I was thinking of that counted as my favorite house up here in Tempest Reach. I do like the little two-story houses. For whatever reason, they are definitely my favorites. Especially this one. You've got this nice little table down here. Definitely also looks like World of Warcraft did not get rid of all of its art assets. And then you go up here, and you've got your laundry hanging up, your big old room. I'm not sure I would be able to sleep all that well with this creepy dude on the wall. Yeah, he looks a little bit creepy. But hey. Again, nice little two-story house. I actually wouldn't mind having a house like this in real life. It's kind of like in my Sims, stuff that I've been doing on Friday nights, which, by the way, join me for live streaming on Friday nights. I do it every Friday, and we've been building in the Sims, and it's been quite a lot of fun, actually. Are my houses practical? Probably not. Are they fun? Yeah, I think they are. But yeah, I guess let's head in and see what is left in this city. Which, if you look at it, architecturally, it's quite different from Stormwind. It has a more medieval vibe to it, and it is really, really cool. I don't know. I kind of like almost everything about Gilneas, except for the fact that there's nothing technically to do here if you don't make it up yourself. Now, if you look up ahead, you will see that it looks like perhaps the Forsaken have taken this city, because that is their banner right there. You know, I drew that, but I think I drew it reversed. That works. Now, there are so many really cool quests and things that explain what went on in the city, and it is definitely worth doing if you want to see the entire story. Or you can just do what I'm doing and just run around and check out what is going on in the ruins. I just think it's really cool. I think the only building that is still open here in the city is the cathedral. And like I said, there's a lot of stuff that I'm probably missing out on just because I haven't done this quest line in a very long time. I usually just run around here and see what can be seen. It looks like you could definitely have a house in the city itself if you want, which I don't know if I actually knew that before. Let's go to the heart of the city and maybe even check out this big old cathedral, which is quite the Gothic-looking place, and see how it's decorated. Now, our next episode, we will be back with Beryl's sister Onyx as we explore the last of... Oh, this is really pretty. The last of our capital cities on the Eastern Kingdom. Kingdoms, which is Silvermoon City, the home of the Blood Elves. Yeah, you could totally do a lot in this big old cathedral. I think the whole idea behind Gilneas is to kind of evoke that European, maybe medieval times vibe. Like, is it the actual vibe that you should be getting out of it? I mean, were the medieval times actually anything like this? Probably not. Does it look really cool? Yeah, it really does. Anyway, I'm probably going to leave you here. There isn't a whole heck of a lot more to look at. I mean, there's a lot more to look at, but there's not a whole heck of a lot more that I personally know about. Go over and look over here where the battle raged in the northern headlands. Now, I do know on the Horde side there are some really cool quest lines in here as well. And quite the battle that you can do that culminates in the song The Lament of the Highborn on the Horde side quest line. But on the Alliance side, it's just a whole lot of empty. It's kind of neat. I don't think that this lighthouse you can actually go into, which I have always felt is a tragedy, but let's go double check, because maybe I'm wrong. But yeah, kind of like Nomergon, there's a lot of other stuff to be done with the questing in this, but yeah, I can't go inside. It's tragic, but beautiful. Anyway, as always, I hope you kind of enjoyed this. This isn't really anything that has secrets, unless of course you just like the secret of a big empty place with a lot of really cool houses to poke around in. But nonetheless, if you know anything that I have missed or forgotten, which is probably a lot, just stick it down in the comments below. I know that you could do a whole deep dive just on Gilneas itself and everything that happened in it, but that's not this episode. This is more just to show you the potential for poking around in a really cool place, if that is what you are into, which quite often that is what I am into. But other than that, I hope you guys had a wonderful time, and I will see you next week for another WoW Wednesday, where we will be with Onyx and poking around in Silvermoon City. Hopefully I'll have a few more interesting tidbits for you about Silvermoon, but until then, let me do this, and say, may the 4th be with you, and I will see you guys next time on WoW Wednesdays. Have a good one.